Terry, if we could just start by running through the latest injury news ahead of the weekend games.
Yeah, well, it's still very frustrating that Joe Edwards will be missing again. He's still got this swelling on his ankle. I think he's only been fit for one game for me since I've taken over, so we'll be sort of going in. Pardon me, we'll be sort of going into the game without our captain again. So, but for the other players, all the internationals have got through well. So apart from Joe, we'll be pretty strong going into this game.
This issue with Joe seems to be ongoing. Is he going to be out for the rest of the season?
No, definitely not for the rest of the season, but he's going to be playing in a hell of a lot of discomfort when he does get back. The specialist said that he went to see just that it's going to take the summer for him to fully recover. But I don't want to rush him back like I did last time, because the games were so big, and with him being the captain and he's a real honest boy, he threw himself into them games and he wasn't ready, and it's sort of hampered him now, sort of coming back and put us back a bit as well as a team. So next time when he is back, we want to make sure that he's 100% so that he can feel good as a captain being out there on the field and give it his all.
In terms of both your playing and your management career, how tricky a period is this for you now?
It's been the trickiest, to be honest with you. It's been the hardest one because of the timing, because of the run of results. That now it's starting to sort of transpire of what we would have needed to have got safe. It could go that we would have needed 10 wins out of the 18 games that I took in charge. If these points totals get as high as what we think they might do, it might be sort of 53, 54, 55 that you might need to stay up in this division. From where we was, that would be over half the games you'd need to win. So it's been a tough league, it's been a tough year. We've got a game tomorrow, and if you get a result in that game, then the picture changes a bit. But all we're focusing on at the moment is Chesterfield. The bigger picture is going to take care of itself, and the boys are well prepared.
Can you see though that short-term picture changing? Is there any chance that Yeovil can survive?
You've got to get a win. If you get a win, then we've got to focus. We've got to try and get ourselves with a good performance at home. We've been on the back of some real sort of tough away games with teams fighting for their lives. You look at Leighton Orient going and getting a great result, and Chesterfield, who are absolutely flying at the moment. They've gone to Bradford away and got a great 1-0 victory, and when we played against them earlier on in the season, it was 0-0, but it was a real tough game. So we're expecting the same tomorrow, but we've had a few internationals that have been out playing, but the rest of the squad's fully rested, and everybody should be raring to go for tomorrow.
At this point in the season, the sort of sides that you want to be playing with the greatest of respect are those in mid-table with little to play for, not someone like Chesterfield who are right bang in that playoff race.
Yeah, but I think that can sort of, it can create that edginess in their sort of performances. I think, on the other end of it, if you're just playing against teams that are, just out there and they're confident and they can cheat a little bit and they know that they're safe. But if you look at I think it's 16th down, everybody's in a relegation battle. So the teams at the top are the ones that are in the playoffs. They're going for something different. The teams from 16 down are all fighting for their lives. So it's going to make for a real interesting end to the season, and we've got to make sure we do our part and try and get as many victories for our supporters as we can.
How easy is it for you to keep momentum going in this squad in what is a drastic situation?
Yeah, well, the momentum's got to start first. So, with us, we've got to just keep... It's really hard because you've got to dust yourselves down. We believe in what we do, but the situation that we're in, we're there for a reason. And, we've got to try and change that mentality. As I said before, this hasn't just been going on for the last month. This has been going on for 2 years, where supporters that have only ever seen success have gone through their first real bit of adversity. And it's how we deal with that. This club's only ever been on the way up. It's never gone down and it's never gone backwards. We've got to make sure that first of all we fight to try and stay in this division, and second of all that we make sure that the club moves forward in the right direction. And we've got to stop this slippery slope. We've got to stop the way that the club has been getting these defeats, sort of week in, week out for the best space of sort of 20 months. And there needs to be a new direction the club takes. And we had a real positive meeting in the week with the supporters group that came in. I think it was 3 or 4 different supporters group, and got to the bottom of a few things. And now the club can put a blueprint forward of how it moves forward.
How does that look?
Well, it's still ongoing at the moment, but I think it was just nice for the supporters to hear, first of all, the board side of things, second of all, the management side of things on the playing side of it, so they could see everything of what we're trying to do. And it was a real positive meeting. It was quite heated as well. There was a few people that was in there that felt passionate about things that they thought were going not quite right, and now it's for the whole club to address these points and move forward together.
And what about your own future? Has that been discussed?
Yes, it has, and it's ongoing at the moment, but I think it will be clearer very soon. I think that there's a lot of things that's going to be coming out, and I think, for the benefit of everyone around the football club, the sooner it does come out, the better, so that people know where they stand for next year, with the signs of recruitment and how the club moves forward. So stuff will be coming out, but of course it's got to be ready for everyone's party. Sure,
but can you shed some light on what you mean in terms of what role you're going to play in the club moving forward?
No, not until it comes out. I mean, there's no point in me saying that something's going to happen soon and you say, well, what is it? It's going to be happening soon.
Will you have a part to play at this football club?
I think that's what's still got to be. Listen, I can't say 100% sure one way or the other, apart from saying to you that it's ongoing and I'm very comfortable in what I'm doing at the moment. So there's nothing's changing from that, from in the short term, and in the long term we'll just have to see where we go. But it's ongoing, and we're looking forward to a bright future for the football club.
Do you want to stay here? Do you want to stay in your position?
I've never ever wanted to leave this football club, and it's up for the people upstairs for the role that they choose for me. And then if there is a role that's been chosen, then it will be up to me to decide whether or not I take that opportunity up.
How difficult, though, with all that going on in the background, does it make your job and the players' job in terms of concentrating on trying to pick up these really important points?
Yeah, it is hard, because we've got to keep motivating each other every day. And as a player, I signed 6 one-year contracts at this football club, so I've been in this situation before as a player and as a manager coming up to the end of a contract before. So it's an occupational hazard. It's one where you've got to be strong and you've got to be mentally strong, and I feel that the players have responded in the right way, and us as a staff has responded in the right way, and I think even the board's responded. There's no knee-jerk reaction. They need to make the right decision, and I'm definitely sure they will do for the club moving forward.
Thank you.
Yeah. Who do you want to see step up into Jay's role, and what have you told them to do? What do they need to bring to the pitch?
Yeah, well, that was one of the reasons we brought Byron in, who's a sort of leader figure that does step into the team. But for us, it's about a squad, and we felt that the reason why we had to bring Byron in the first place is because we've got quite a lot of young players out there with no real footballing CV. Because we had to regroup, and we had to, because of the championship season and everyone being taken, all of our experienced players, you start again. When you're looking for leaders, the leaders are all the ones that we know, and we've not really brought enough of those in. And in the short term, we had to remedy a few things. And when you're down there, you're looking for characters with that experience, but there's not many people with that kind of experience of being down at the bottom. So we've had to deal with that, and players have all got to step up, but they've got to step up in their different ways. You can't all run out there with your sleeve rolled up and get cut eyes and broken legs and limbs and die for the cause. You need people to take responsibility. If they're, someone used to say, you've got soldiers and then you've got artists, and you need to make sure that the artists are doing their job and creating and coming up with the bits of flair, and your soldiers are getting around the pitch and they're looking after the artists to make sure that they can get on with what they've got to do. So it's making all them elements sort of come together whilst also fighting to get wins as well.
Thank you.
It's a congested fixture list over Easter as always, and you've got a long trip up to Fleetwood on Monday. How does that affect the team?
I think it only affects them with seeing what the fallout is from the game. We've got, apart from Joe, as we said, a good squad to pick from, and we've just got to make sure that we handle that right. Then you get into your recovery, and then we'll be travelling. We'll be in Saturday for a warm down, and then you just get your travelling up into Fleetwood. And we've been there before, so we know the hotel, we know the distance, we know the time, and it's when you get up there, it's how you recover again and get yourself ready for another really important game with a team that's up there in and around the playoffs as well. So for us, it's your job. You got to deal with it. We've had players, you know, we've had Joel Grant that's been away in Miami that comes back and that will be involved in the game. So I always used to like it when you see the old Man United players, when David Beckham was playing all them games on the spin, they'd be flying all over Europe, and they was in every day, and they was putting on performances and delivering a high level of performance. And we remind that of our players and saying they've got to go out there and perform for the supporters. So it's no good us coming in having days off. We've got to make sure that they're going full tilt, showing pride and passion and commitment for the club.
And can we expect to see some changes in your starting 11 tomorrow from the Rochdale game, or is it going to be a similar look?
You're working for if you're working for them, that's a good one. That is. You'll have to wait and see, but we've had the players back now. We've done our work today, and all I can say is that we're looking forward to the game, and we're hoping the supporters come out, get behind the team like they have been doing, and we can kind of do everything in our powers to get a result for them.